Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Sorry, I was trying to post the clip um, on social media, so some of y'all will be seeing that clip here shortly. 19 points. Yeah, there we go. That's the clip I was looking for. Anyway, let's get this. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I need to get all my stuff, all my stuff situated. What's up, everybody? Hopefully, everybody's doing well on a victory Saturday, a survive and advance Saturday, a Saturday where Texas wins by a score of 38-24 over the Clemson Tigers in DKR first round college football playoff. Looks like we have gone chalk across the board in the first round, and we're gonna break it down and talk ball. So I'm excited. Look, if you're not excited to be here, if you're not pumped up, I hope you can get pumped up throughout this conversation. I hope people can uplift you guys. If I can't uplift you, hopefully the chat here. I got my ride or dies here in the chat, all the usual suspects. But we're ready to talk ball, break this thing down, dissect university, however you want to talk about it. You know, let's do it. I want to start off with this. Guys, it's free to show love. So please like the content and subscribe. Um, I'm a lonely old Texas YouTuber over here, just trying to represent the fans, speak for the fans, by the fans. It's free to show love. I think 60 to 70% of you are subscribed that normally watch, but that means there's opportunity for 30 or 40% more to subscribe. Help us grow the platform. It helps me immensely, and I just love and rock rock with what we do. I love talking with you guys, rocking with you guys. So please help support. It really, really, really goes a long way, more than you realize. Secondly, hook 'em. Hook 'em. We what are we now? 12-2? 12-2 on the season. Getting back into the win column, getting our offense back on track. I can't wait to talk about what I saw from Quinn Ewers today. I can't wait to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly of today and why I'm encouraged by this Texas team. And, if we're going to I don't believe, look, this is like, there's things that are similar to the NCAA tournament in terms of basketball, and there's things that are going to be unique to this. What's not unique, or what's unique to college football, I should say, is there ain't gonna be no Cinderellas in this joint. If you win, you are one of the best. Okay, this ain't college basketball where you can string together the right matchups as a mid major and hit some threes and get out. Nah, you got to earn it in the trenches. You got to earn it with your athletes. There's no hiding in this tournament. There's no hiding in this bracket. So that is where I think what the NCAA was trying to capture, the March Madness vibe. I think what you saw in this first round is it ain't gonna be that. All right, it ain't gonna be that. There's not that Cinderella stuff is basketball. Look, you get a shooter, you get hot, whatever. There's a lid on the rim. That's different. But here, no hiding. The other thing is this. I'm really, really impressed with Quinn and how he handled the adversity that we saw in this game, especially with the injuries, inconsistent play calling, inconsistent pass catching, a lot of things he had to navigate in this game. And when we really, really needed to have it, whether it was a drive for a touchdown to get points or drive to run clock or, to give our defense rest or to keep them off the field at times. I said it, to keep the defense off the field at times. I thought he led us and delivered. It's hard playing quarterback when and having that trust in your guys when there's a shuffleboard in the trenches because of injuries and all these things going on. And 3 led us today. All the questions that people had about 3, And the only thing I question about Quinn in this regard was his play at home had been a little inconsistent compared to road and neutral site games. But I haven't questioned. I've never thought that we're gonna lose because of him. We didn't lose to Georgia because of him. So I think, and like I said in the preview, guys. I mean, I thought I was pretty spot on with a lot of things I said in the preview. Honestly, shout out to Quentin and everybody that's here. One thing I said was, if I get the Quinn that showed up in Georgia, I'm fine. Let's be honest. We're not playing that type of defense. And what you saw from Clemson today, and respect to Clemson, by the way, respect to Clemson. But what we talked about in their pregame, and this is why we take the time, guys. And I wanted to have this conversation with the fans. We broke this game down together when we did our preview. It was all of us talking about it, right? And one of the things we said was, look, Clemson has some personnel that can give you problems. Cade Klubnik is a problem. TJ Moore is a problem. Wesco's a problem. Antonio Lewis is a problem. They got players. Okay. Maffa wasn't even healthy, God forbid. Jay Haynes was out with ACL. Like Clemson, Dabo and them they ain't dead over there. Okay. Defensively, I like some of their pieces, but I knew, hey, they're not Georgia defensively. They're not A&M defensively. And I don't even see some of the guys up front that Kentucky had. So I knew physically we were going to run the ball. Just off of, wow, we don't have to go up against those guys this week, right? So Matt, again, this is why we say every week, styles make fights. And if y'all stick around long enough, I will talk about Usyk versus Fury too, by the way. But styles make fights, period. We knew this is not. So yes, I'm going to logically when I predicted 38-24, that's where my mind went. Was the offense is going to have to carry more of this because they are getting a much lighter matchup on their end than what they've been having to deal with some of these really, really high level SEC defensive lines they've had to play back to back to back weeks. That's why Texas could still deal with the shuffle and still have two guys go over 100 yards rushing today. The quarterback still had time to do what he needed to do back there and make key throws when he needed to. Guys getting open downfield. Because you weren't facing that level of guys. TJ Parker's a good player. Peter Wood's a good player. But collectively as a group, they're not what we've been seeing. And that's not disrespect to Clemson. Where I give Clemson hella credit and where you guys were bagging on me about, wow, how are you? Our defenses, look, we had not seen a passing attack like that. And Clemson, one of the things, there's two things that I was also thinking about. Number one, Cade is the best quarterback we've played all season. I don't need to think about it. Okay. Especially throwing the ball downfield and challenging our secondaries, as well as the receiving personnel that they had. Those young freshmen, Wesco and TJ Moore, are like a little baby T. Higgins and Justin Ross, the way that they played today and the way that they have been playing when they started getting more time and opportunities. And Antonio Williams is a very, very good player. On top of having athletic tight end, those present matchup problems. I don't care how good your secondary is. What they started doing was spreading this out and isolating people. We saw Manny get picked on. There's no hiding. It's not a slight at Manny. Manny got picked on. They thought he was food. They decided to go after him. There were certain matchups where they saw Gavin. Gavin Holmes played probably his best game as a Texas Longhorn. They went after him. They stopped going. They went back to Manny. But they used, and this is where Garrett Riley comes into play, because Garrett Riley is familiar with PK. Y'all forget Garrett Riley came from TCU. So they've gone together against each other in terms of chess match. Garrett Riley is familiar with what PK wanted to do. And Garrett Riley is familiar with how to attack our secondary. The last time we saw Garrett Riley, I distinctly remember him putting Terrence Brooks in a bind with QJ. Do y'all remember that? That's the same coordinator. So that's why matchups, I don't care about the seeds anymore, because it's who you are playing. Here's the other thing. Let me ask a question for the chat right now. Where would you rank Cade Klubnik amongst the 12 quarterbacks in the playoffs? Where would you rank Cade Klubnik? I would have him at minimum in the top 3. So while, yes, you played the lowest seed and you played the 12 seed at Clemson, you just took out one of the best quarterbacks. There's like no disrespect to Sam Levitt, who will play next, Arizona State. He's good, but he's young. He's in Arch's class, another 2023 guy. He's a one-read guy and he runs. But he's not Cade, and he's not with Garrett Riley. And I have respect for them. But y'all just took out a big, like, you're not seeing that type of quarterback play again, probably, unless you play Dylan Gabriel. So you got to, again, look at those things. Look at those things. Cade Klubnik was very good today. There were times he got hot where people started texting me, man, it feels like Michael Penix again, bro. Feels like Michael Penix again. Like, nah, he's good. He's good. And yes, the secondary has improved. Did they play their best football today? Hell no. And that's a good thing because now they can stop reading their press clippings. Okay? The DBU stuff, the Thorpe Award stuff, the All-Americans, the SEC, all that stuff. The Pro Football Focus to where, oh man, it's no fly zone, blah, blah, blah. No, anybody can be had. So that will help refocus them. Trust they are going to come out against Arizona State that has no Tyson at wide receiver. For those who aren't familiar with Arizona State, they have a dog at receiver, or had one, and Jalen Tyson. He's not going to play. That injury that kid has is going to be like a 4-month injury. So it's going to be Scattaboo, the quarterback, and then they have some big receivers that they're pulling from like off the red shirt thing that they're going to throw jump balls to. That's what Arizona State's going to do. I'm telling you this right now. That's what they're going to do. But Arizona State's not even as good as Clemson, in my opinion. So look at the matchup, do what you need to do. You have 10 days, and you go to Arizona, and you handle your business. I love this matchup against Arizona State because this is going to be more phone booth ball, where Texas is shown to be pretty good. Where Clemson, to me, messed up today, I'm going to give you an example. When they got down there in the goal line, they had an opportunity to make it a one-score game. They went quarterback draw out the spread, and it was second down. Third down and fourth down, they go to their heavy package. And I said to myself, y'all are making the same mistake that Texas A&M did. If you want to beat Texas on defense and you want to eat against Texas, Quentin just said it, spread them. Pause, but spread them out. Spread them out. Why they got to the goal line, that's stubbornness on Clemson's coaching staff. That was stubbornness on Garrett Riley. To go with a back-to-back heavy package, that played right into Texas's hand. As soon as I watched the game. Tran was over here at my house today. We watched the game together. As soon as they went with heavy package, me and Tran said, oh, we got the D for that. That's A&M all over again. We can play that. What we couldn't play over and over again was when they were spreading us out, and it was either quarterback run or he's running around throwing it to somebody. And we were getting lost in our zones. Were there communication issues? Yes. But look, some of that frustration was ego, in my opinion. Let me tell you why. Manny Muhammad, they playing a lot of cover 3 at first, Texas. You're getting beat to the outside. Who's there to help you? I mean, maybe you're expecting a curl flat, but for the most part, to me, playing that far off, it's gonna be you, bro. And Jade's screaming at somebody. And again, I'm not a defensive coach. I'm not. But some of that frustration to me was, damn, no one's thrown it on us all year. This is weird to them right now. They don't know. Like right now, the last time somebody threw on them like this was Penix. That's the last time any of them had seen that in terms of the guys that had been with us. So Manny, who played in that Washington game, Jade Barron, and Michael Taft, because Makuba wasn't here. So some of that was frustration. But when you play a coach that's very familiar with PK, that's how you attack it. So Garrett Riley did his job. But Steve Sarkisian attacking Clemson which is also something I knew. I knew we would have our run game stuff back. I knew we'd be able to do wide zone today because these non-conference, they're not a SEC team. When you're playing conference, these teams are everybody's all over each other's stuff. We're all over each other's stuff. We know we know tendency, all that type of stuff. But when you start playing people away from you, some of that stuff, y'all started seeing stuff that was working in the non-conference back in September. Because Clemson's not as familiar with us, even with that time to prep. They're not as familiar with us. It's different. And also, again, credit to Quinn and having the poise back there of acting like a year 3 quarterback, of acting with maturity, of no panic, no freaking out. When they scored, I never felt like we were going to press. Now, I thought our coaches would press a little bit. I don't know why Jeff Banks and them decided to go kick return out of the end zone that one time. That pissed me off. That to me was pressing. Take the ball to 25. But the offense did their thing and they bailed them out. And that's without the several errors we had on offense, right? Our turnover today was we beat ourselves, right? DeAndre Moore could be a 90 catch receiver for us, but damn it, get some consistency, my brother. You're consistent focus and hands away from greatness. But that play led to somebody getting hurt. That's why this stuff is serious. It's not, and I'm not blaming him for Jake Majors getting blindsided or nothing like that. Let's not get carried away. And drops happen. But it's been too often for him, for as good as he is, and I know he has good hands. He's a good route runner, and he's going to be a really good player for us. He already is a solid player for us. But we stuff like that. Just looking for that consistency from DeAndre. Anyway, I missed a super chat somewhere, so I need to talk to you guys. I'm just over rambling. Jaden Blue, great job, great game for him. Confidence builder for him. Stay woke, $5 donation. I appreciate it. He said if Blue has ball control together, it's about to be a problem. That 77-yarder, man, how thrilled were you guys to see him break out like that? I know we were scared and worried. I was worried. I'm still worried about Contravian Wisner because he was running behind his pads, running hard, picking up yards, the whole bit. But Marlon, do you still think that Blue is slow? Not slow. Marlon, you never said he was slow, but you said he looked a tick off, and we've been trying to figure it out, right? Looked a little tick off, but how do you think he looked today? Because he looked fast, but I also think we played a non-SEC opponent. Like I'm not trying to be that guy, but like the speed, what do they call it in Madden? The speed disparity started to widen a little bit again. We can run away from guys again. but Jaden Blue was terrific today. Derek Wisner said Trey is fine. That's good. Okay, good news. Good news. Because we were worried. We were worried about your nephew, man. I was worried about your nephew, Derek. So if you're saying he's fine, we standing on business over here. How good was it to see two guys over 100 yards rushing in a Texas uniform? And a meaningful game. We had two guys over 100 yards rushing when we had rotations going on at offensive line because of guys were going down throughout the game. Still got it done. I'm thrilled with that. I also want to give a shout out to Trevor Gooseby. That young man is becoming a special player in my eyes. Do you guys understand how hard it is to come into a game cold and play left tackle against A&M. He came to the game cold and played left tackle at a high level. Played left tackle against Georgia. Played very well. Held his own against grown men. And then he's back to the bench. So keep in mind, he's a freshman, doesn't know when he's going to play. So that means you got to have your conditioning on point. You have to be mentally aware. And oh, by the way, you're not just our backup at left tackle, you're a backup at right tackle. So Big Cam goes down. Praise that for Big Cam. That was, I don't know what, to me, it looked like a knee sprain, but I don't know what the word has been. Somebody tell me, because I went straight to the North Crowley Westlake game after the Texas game. So I have not heard any press conferences, any post-game stuff. So if you guys know the status on Cam Williams, please let me know. But what I do know is Trevor Gooseby comes in there at right tackle, and he's doing the same thing and executing like he is at left tackle. Not perfect, right? He's not, but the fact that he's able to play both ways within a matter of weeks as a redshirt freshman, already with his size, his basketball athleticism, we already know what his little brother about to be him anyway. But we're talking about big brother right now, or the older one right now. I am blown away. I am blown away. Mike, I've told you this. I tell you this all the time, man. I'm so proud of you guys and what y'all are doing over there. But man, that I told Mike, that is insane that your son is able to just jump in and play right tackle, and in a playoff game, and it's not a problem. Got you covered. Whatever you need, coach. And have the conditioning, have the focus. It's different footwork. Anybody that's played offensive line, I have not, but anybody that's played offensive line or coached offensive line or coach or understands ball, left tackle and right tackle, it's not just a matter of opposites and stuff, right? There's nuance. There's a lot more nuance to it than people realize. Hayden Conner having to jump over to play center for a little bit. Cole Hudson flipping over to play left guard. And they just keep it moving. No flaws. Now, Gooseby something else. Y'all realize he's 6'7". Like that's NFL size already. It's just that he's a puppy in terms of experience. Playing both sides. Fasusi saw Gooseby and said, "Hell no, that's the truth." that nobody ever brings that part up. Nobody brings that part up. That how valuable is that to the team? He that to me, who are y'all giving game balls to? Because to me, I'm giving a game ball to Quinn Ewers. I'm giving a game ball to Trevor Gooseby. I'm giving a game ball to Jake Majors. Who else we want to give a game ball to? Y'all talk to me. My backs. I'll give one to Wisner and Jaden Blue. Who we giving? Who? Y'all let me know. But very very impressed. I love what I saw from a lot of my defensive linemen in the first half. But again, look, Garrett Riley and they're running that Big 12 spread, bro. We hadn't seen that in a while. Bros got a little gassed in the second half. And we weren't getting home like we did. I gotta watch the game again. But to me, I'm not as worried about the defensive line long term because I know we were getting pass rush in the first half. But I know it's a bitch to defend that type of spread. And we haven't played against that in a while. Even some of the more spread-ish teams in the SEC, either we didn't play them we play a lot of veer and shoot teams that may or may not run tempo, but we haven't seen that stuff that's more of a variation of the late Mike Leach. That we haven't seen that in a while. Even though those are more of our roots of where we came from, I think that's why I think overall this game is a positive, because national championship teams have to win games, in my opinion, multiple ways. Have to be able to win games in multiple ways. Let me clarify. They don't always have to show it, but it's good to know that, hey, in this matchup, you can lean on your offense today and win the game. This is a tough matchup for our defense. We know we have a good defense, and most schemes and things and personnel that we see, we think we're going to have the advantage. But today, either we're not playing our A game, or this scheme is going to present some challenges. We're going to have to lean on that. The other games, we've had to lean on or more rely on the defense. And then offense has to say, and that's where what's the term we talk about? Complementary football, right? Hey, we may have to scale the offense down, and people say, oh, we're struggling. No, we have to be more conservative for this game because that other team can't score. And if they can't score, they can't win. So we're going to be more conservative, and we're going to sit on the ball for a little bit. And we're going to get a lead and then run the clock out and move on, aka survive in advance. So you got to understand how ball works when you have the ability to be as versatile in these games as Texas has shown. Texas needed to remind people that the offense is not broken. Texas needed to remind people that Sark can still roll the bet and get 30 points or more. They needed that today. And the defense needed to see that, y'all are not invincible. And I said this, people got so mad at me for putting some blame on the Georgia game, on them for allowing that touchdown overtime. That shit matters. I don't care how well you played in the fourth quarter. I don't care how tired you are. I need you to hold them to a field goal, and we need to go to double overtime. So I need my defense to be what? Clutch. That's not to say that they have not been great all year. That's not to say that they haven't stood on business all year. They haven't played with their food. They've come with the professional mentality. That's why they were so upset today. And I know Jade, I know Michael Taft, I know Makuba. They're going to get in the room, probably in the room right now, trying to fix it and trying to say, hey guys, we can't have that happen again. And we're going to make that redshirt freshman Arizona State. We're going to make him look like the one read guy. Now he's a good athlete. Let me also throw that in there. But again, I've said this before, matchups. I like Texas against quarterback run. I don't have a problem with it. The thing with Klubnik is now developed enough to where he's not just a one read guy. And when Klubnik is playing with confidence, he's a very good quarterback. Very good. When he gets confident with those receivers, they're dangerous. And they got there today. And I give credit to Clemson's opening script. I thought it was very, very much on point. They looked to establish the run. They had high completions, and they were avoiding negative plays. One of the things Tran and I were talking about, Tran kept saying, look, we got to try to get a -7. We try to get a -8, try to get a sack, try to get them back. Because if not, Klubnik, all the little dinking and dunking he was doing, what was that doing, y'all? That was getting him in rhythm. Yeah, there's no more rankings. There's no more style points, nothing. There's either won or lost. If you win, your season continues. If you lose, it's over. That freshman also plays off of Scattaboo, by the way. And look, for those of you, Tran and I, we were talking about it today. Scattaboo reminds me so much of Toby Gerhart, who used to play for Stanford. The white running that used to wear no gloves, limited accessories, just Captain Tape Knuckles. And he's a dog. And if you don't put your chin strap on correctly, and have some toughness, he will run right through your ass. So Scatterboo he's one of them ones too. H Post, I missed your super chat. I'm sorry. I've just been talking. I apologize. D Money, can't get money. Thank you for the super chat. I'm gonna get yours first, and I'm gonna get back to H Post. Guys, I'm just excited. I'm sorry. Appreciate keep doing your thing. Appreciate it, man. Hook 'em. Thank you. Your profile picture is hilarious. Oh yeah. And I apologize, my brother. I'm sorry. H Post said, well played today. Texas balled out. That being said, East West shit needs to be turned off. Has been a drive killer too many times against the Power Four. I think the East West stuff, right? A lot of our screen stuff, bubble, all that type of stuff. I think a lot of that was in play today. Again, we're not playing a conference opponent. We're not playing somebody that's seen a lot of us all year long, where we have a lot of common opponents, things of that sort. So we were able to have some of that stuff today. It wasn't bad today. Now we were still a little sloppy, and we got bailed out with some athleticism. Wisner bailed us out a couple times. Wingo bailed us out, I think, on an end around where he just broke tackles himself. It wasn't necessarily there. So, I mean, we weren't perfect, but Sark is, at the end of the day, the nature of what he does is based in misdirection. Now, what you want to see is his ability to adjust to the opponent on the fly, to where if that stuff is not, if it's clearly like Georgia, for example, especially in the rematch, you can't run the Sark screen, right? I'm by the way, I'm ready to retire, at least semi-retire the Sark throwback screen. Everybody knows that play. That play is his Green Goblin mask. It just and it screams at him in the third quarter. Coward! You know what I'm saying? Right the Sark screen. It's like, bro, cross that off. let's let that sit. I don't want to see that play for a year. I'm serious. Like, anybody that does their job at this point, that play was money in the Bijan Jonathan Brooks days. But look, the misdirection stuff. The misdirection stuff. Look, we're still a good screen team. My issue is not screens; it's what type of screens. For example, we had a big one with the middle. We ran middle screen today. That looked good with Jaden Blue, right? So it's just everybody on that now. Okay, it's a copycat league, just like the NFL. It's a copycat league. Everybody on that. So but I hear you. Also, the other frustrating piece with the offense, we did, and I'm going to get to. I haven't even really looked at the box score like I normally do. We did miss 2 fourths down. Look, look. It's cool that I was right about the score, blah blah blah, and I'll take a little. I'll brag on that on social media and all that, but that's just for fun and content. But on some real, we really should have scored like 48, 50 points today. When you think about, we're still leaving money on the table in the red zone. The arch package today was a disaster. I don't know if we didn't rep it well in practice. If guys aren't repping stuff well in practice, then it can't come into the game. I'm not saying what's going on, but the package wasn't smooth. It wasn't smooth. And to me, it's either got to be a real like 18-wheeler package, or you're really just having Arch come in and play quarterback. Like, what do we like? I don't know, because it feels like the players even feel indecisive. Um, so I don't know. That didn't feel good today. I, that was a minus for me. But that also the fourth downs, right? The toss sweep on fourth down, we had hit on the fullback Jared Gibson play early in the game. Went back to it. Okay, would as guessed it. Shot the gap. I get it. I knew as soon as we lined up in that personnel again, we were running toss sweep. I don't know why, but I'm like, oh, here comes the toss sweep to the field. I would have rather us play action like we did against OU a couple years ago and then throw that bitch in the end zone. That's something that they wouldn't see coming. But the toss sweep to the field on 4th and 2, oh, I'm sorry. I'm expecting my varsity guys on high school to be ready for that. So I'm not upset that we went for it. I'm upset with what we ran. Yeah, Marlon, yo, bro, anybody that's played ball, you knew that. You knew once they stopped the fullback drain and we came out in the same personnel, ding, 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 they ain't running the fullback drain again. We've already keyed on that. They need a yard. He gonna try to go outside. So to me, that's where you go hard play action and throw that shit in the end zone to the tight end. Like, power pass to the post. Madden Blake. You can we're not look, I'm just some overweight guy here in Arlington, Texas. And I swear, Tran will tell you, if he was here, he'll tell you. As soon as we came in the same formation, I was like, bro, they run a tall sweep to the field with Sark. If I can see it, so can they. If I can see it, so can they. I knew that tall sweep was coming. Here's where I know you and your bag as a play caller. When you got me surprised, when I'm like, oh, what was that? That's when I know, okay, this guy. Because plays, how do I say this? Marlon, you might be able to say it better than me, but like play calling is a art. And sometimes, and it's also guys get in their tendency. So it's like he's expecting that package to run again because he ran it before, and he's like, damn, it didn't work. But I got another one. It's like the play in Madden where they got the three plays on the bar, and it's like the one right next to it where you're like, oh, the inside one didn't work, the outside. Like that seemed to be his psychology there. I don't know why, but I'm like, yo, at least give me a different personnel package. Go to your normal 12 personnel package and then run it inside again. Switch up, like window dress it and run the same play again, just so that you don't key the backer to shoot the A gap because he saw Jared Gibson at fullback. That's all that was. It's just they record KYP. Know your personnel. That's all that backer did. He just keyed on that because they got hit on it earlier. So he's like, all right, common sense tells me they're probably going to try to run that again if that kid's lined up there. I mean, at minimum, they're not going to beat us on that. We're going to take that away and make them go what? Outside. Some of this is not deep. That's why look, one of these days I'm going to turn the TV on or have a stream while I'm watching the game. So, because Trent and I were literally saying, we were like, as soon as they can't, we were like, they're going to run toss sweep to the field. And that's where it's like, it's a bad play call. So now I'm like begging my guys to defeat the bad play call. Whether it's Quinn checking out of it or like Ryan Wingo where he just breaks tackles and steps through it. So look, I'm not questioning Sark. Sark is a genius. He's a great play caller. One of the best in the country, one of the best in football. Okay. What we are talking about right now is specifically situational ball. And we're nitpicking in a game in which we scored 38 points and got back on track offensively, had over 200 yards rushing. I think today, I don't care about stats like that. I've never, in a home game, been more proud of Quinn Ewers and the way he performed. I thought he saved some of his best work for last in probably his last game at DKR. I thought I had no problems with how he played. I give Quinn an A today. His worst throw to me was the 4th and 2 that we didn't convert to Matthew Golden. Matthew's been so good this year. With his athleticism, I know the ball was behind him and he's running full speed the other way. He's even good enough to catch that pass, but that was Quinn's worst play to me. I really, I'm serious. Like, there was a lot of BS going on around Quinn today, and he's hung in there and did his thing. So he plays like that. That's why football is a team sport, because when he didn't play well, other people stepped up. And when the defense finally struggled, 3 stepped up. That's team sports. Special teams probably never going to step up, okay? We just got to hide them. We got to continue to hide the special teams. just leave them where they're at. We'll work on that. We'll get back to the special teams in spring practice. But in terms of, if we're going to win the Natty, it's going to have to be offense and defense. And if something big on special teams happens, then we ain't going to win the national championship, because that's going to be our demise. So we got to keep it to where it's offense, defense. I thought Quinn was brilliant at the line of scrimmage. I agree, Joey Austin. Quinn's audibles won the game. For all we know, that could have been 2 dumb Sark play calls. No, Quinn was dealing. There were several plays where he was checking the run. Some of the verbiage you can kind of hear on TV, but he's flipping, right, from either the field to the boundary or vice versa, flipping from pass to run. Very smart checks. Quentin, I need you to come front and center. I'm not blaming 2 for taking the ball out the end zone. I'm convinced that they had return on. The reason why I say that, Marlon, is because I don't know who it was, but we had a guy running into the end zone as like a loop to be a lead blocker for him. That tells me the coaches had return on. I know he ultimately elects to take the ball out the end zone. I get it. But I'm not blaming Matthew Golden for that. I think they came out after Clemson scored and said, we need to get a big. I don't know why they do this. It hasn't worked all year. Stop doing it. I thought they had. If you hear me again, stop doing it. But they had return on. I think they did. I don't think that was a player decision, so to speak. 11, I told you, I love Silas Bolden. I love him. But the punt return, choose your own adventure bullshit, it's too much. My wife has to get me to leave the room when people punt to us now. I can't be in the room. It's not safe for my blood pressure. It's too much. He fumbled. And Quentin told me, Quentin lied to my face and told me that we should not be concerned about Silas returning punts. What, brother, respectfully, what are you talking about? I know Juan hit him. I know. But, bro, it's every time, bro. I know. It's every time, bro. I know. But it's always something. It's always something. It's always something. Okay. It's always something. I'm not blaming. I'm not. He hasn't screwed us. Man, you live your life on the wild side, brother. I'm just saying, like, he hasn't called. Yes, thank you. In there, we is that not in our vocabulary as a special teams unit? Y'all don't believe in Peter. He just keeps us on our toes. We don't believe it. We haven't called Peter all year. No, I haven't seen it. Look, I'm not look. I'm not saying everything has been. It's just when I say choose your own adventure, that includes the good, but it's just every single time. Like somebody said here, yo, it's like blackjack. Like, yo, my man's just like hit me. Like I love. Clearly, he's fearless. Clearly, this has been from the first punt return in the Colorado State game. It has been a choose your own adventure back there. he, Silas, man, Silas living dangerously. Like every time the ball goes up in the air, I'm like, wow, what's going to happen now? It, something crazy going to happen. I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case. I will gladly eat crow. I will gladly eat crow. Some of y'all still have not apologized to me for getting on my ass about saying that Clemson was going to move the ball. Us as Texas fans, we have to look. If you don't have respect for your opponent, then how are you gonna prepare have the mentality of how to beat them, right? Like in all seriousness, like I think some of y'all really thought that the defense was just like we're not 2001 Miami, okay? And I'm not trying to poo poo and shit on the defense, but I also look at it this way. I expected Clemson to come out and play their A game offensively, especially knowing the Maffa injury with the shoulder, how long that was going to last, Cade being back home. Those freshman receivers, if you've been watching college football, they've been growing, and those are good prospects, and they're like 6'4", and their catch radius was stupid. Antonio Williams is already a footwork king. Like, I knew they were going to give us some problems that we have not seen. So, with that being said, we also look at this as we took all of that and we only allowed 24 points. If you put it in full context of like back in the day, I'll put it like this: back in the day, you knew when you were going to play like a Texas Tech with like Graham Harrell and Michael Crabtree and just old school Big 12, right? If I told you before the game you were going to hold them boys to 24 points, knowing that you're going to get somewhere between 35 and 45, you'll take it. You're like, yo, that's an offense that looks like they could throw the ball all over the place and all this type of stuff. And I'm not saying that Clemson's been all that all year. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the style of play. The style of play. So I'm also saying I'm okay with allowing what we allowed in that manner, especially having not played that in a while, especially knowing that the likelihood of us seeing another quarterback play at that level. I don't know if anybody remembers, I did a Longhorn Weekly video in the middle of the season. Now, was proven wrong on it, but I said the only way to beat Texas is with elite quarterback play. Now, Georgia proved that they can beat Texas without elite quarterback play, so I was proven wrong. But the points I made in that video, I still stand by. And Clemson showed you those things, right? Was Manny Muhammad struggling today? Yes. Were some of those catches like Roma Doomsday vibes? Oh, that guy got his foot down? Really? Oh, that guy, like, normally the game that we were able to push the guy out of bounds, or, normally that guy goes out of bounds, or normally this guy, drops it or whatever, or we were able to defend it. No, like they made plays. They made plays. No, that lady that's around Sark is part of the SID office with John Bianco, the folks that handle media for Texas. She's part of the media team for Texas football. I don't know her name per se, but I know she works with John Bianco. That is not L'Oreal. Quentin's not allowed to talk about L'Oreal on this channel anymore. Even though Quinn didn't bring it up. I'm just messing with him. Yeah, man. Cade. I'm glad Cade showed up today because Westlake did not show up in the state championship up here in Arlington against North Crowley. Tran and I went to that game right after the 6A Division I state championship game. I actually left early. I normally don't leave games early, but I left early to start this video. When I left, I think it was 50-14, North Crowley over Westlake. I've never seen Westlake get beat like that. Westlake was getting beat so bad. North Crowley is going to force Westlake to integrate their community. Those guys are finally going to have to experience full-blown integration. That's like Bama versus USC in 1973 when Bear Bryant was like, look, we need to get some brothers on this team. That's how bad it looked. If you watched the highlights or you were there, it was bad. They're gonna have to have some integration at Westlake. I guarantee you there's a Buddy Garrity guy on the phone in Westlake's community as we speak. As we speak, he on the phone like, we need to get some daggone naysayers in here immediately, damn it. We need to get some, I need about 6-7 naysayers. I need some Jamariuses, some Amariuses, some Jamontes here. Stat! Right? Because that was crazy work they got. I was there. I've never seen the Westlake people look like that. That was bad. North Crowley looks like they have several different 4x100 relay teams on the roster. The quarterback, the quarterback looked like Pat White. Both running backs look like they run 4.3. They got the Quentin Gibson guy who's going to Colorado at receiver. The brother had 90 catches, 33 of them for touch. This is coming into the game, by the way. He had 86 catches for 33 touchdowns and 1,900 receiving yards coming into the game. At halftime, they put a stat up at halftime. Gibson had 156 yards receiving. The brother scored. They threw the most basic screen pass on 3rd and 20, and the brother housed it. Westlake kid. Look, I'm just saying, them kids, look, I respect them Lukes and Hagens and whatnot, but they couldn't cover them brothers, yo. I'm watching these Luke and Hagens in space, and they getting cooked. It was so bad, yo. It was so bad. Oh, my goodness. North Crowley went full BTA unapologetically in there, man. My goodness. It's sad, too. Joe Rogan was there. I didn't know his daughter went to Westlake. Joe Rogan was there, and his wife, his family, and stuff. Rocking the Westlake gear. It reminded me of, Ryan Gosling. What was his name? Allen was his name. He was number 40. He get beat like he stole something, coach. Westlake is awesome. No. I'm not trying to I'm saying this out of shock. I've never seen Westlake get beat. Like, I've seen Westlake lose. I've seen Westlake get beat by a better team. I have never seen Westlake get cooked like that. I'm talking about they look like they did not belong on the same field. If you hey, let a naysayer know. I've never seen Westlake get whooped like that. That was a different type of ass whooping. North Crowley committed war crimes tonight against Westlake in Arlington, Texas. I was like, war crimes were being committed in that stadium. They ran the most simple inside zone. The guy looked like he was running at warp speed and just bounced and cut outside, just went for just casually running for 70-yard touchdowns against Westlake. What were they, like 15-0 coming into the game? My goodness. My goodness. Now they on the phone. They recruiting naysayers as we speak. They got to. I would. Look, great program they got going over there, and they're going to continue to do it. They Westlake's good every year. They get no hate. No, I went to the game just to show just out of just to see what was going on. Their brothers were getting smoked. Man, North Crowley, David Keith Williams, correct me if I'm wrong. They had their hearts broken last year by Duncanville, and they got it back in blood this year. North Crowley ain't nothing to play with. Once they beat Duncanville, it pretty much told you they can win state. When that kid, I don't know if y'all saw the clip on Decorian Moore. When when Decorian was out, it was like a run play, and the corner like planted Decorian Moore into the ground and was pointing at him like that viciousness. I was like, whoa! I've never seen nobody pull up on Duncanville like that. So North Crowley, special season, special team. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to North Crowley, the Panthers. What's the guy's name? Ray Graves, their coach. Believe he was 41-2 as a head coach coming into the game tonight, and now decisively became 42-2. I've never seen Westlake get spanked like that. But anyway, let's get back to the main thing. Because y'all gonna get me in trouble in here. I'm just reporting the news of what I saw. If somebody else saw something different, if you were there, if you were watching the game on the Bally app or whatever, or Stream East, wherever you were watching the game, you let me know what you saw. I'm just telling you what I saw. I know the brother Gibson is like 5'8", 165. But you know who Gibson reminds me of? And Colorado got themselves a good one. He reminds me of Kavontae Turpin on that. I'm talking about just his ability when he has the ball in his hands. I think he tracks and he plays receiver better than Turpin does. But in terms of when he has the ball in his hands and that electricity, he reminds me of Kavontae Turpin. Just explosive. You sound like you saw a murder. We believe you. Talk to anybody. Talk to a Westlake fan. Ask them what they saw. I can only imagine how many calls came in from 512 phone numbers hitting up the 911 line, reporting assault. No, that's just a football game, man. I'm going to let you go. All right, let me pull up. I want to go over the stats, and then I got to run. And while you're here, 162, please hit the like button, subscribe. We won 38-24. We did this offense, we were back in business. We faced a hot quarterback today, best quarterback we've seen all year. And our defense got challenged today. Our defense went through adversity today. Our defense struggled today. But Quinn Ewers, this offense, this run game, guys like Trevor Gooseby, they picked this team up. Good team win. On to the next one. On to the Peach Bowl. Back to Atlanta. I played on the same little league team as Ollie. And JJR, yeah, that speed. Our future knows it's the speed I'm talking about. Our defense came through in the clutch today. They did. Look, at what point in the game did Clemson score their last? Let me get the stat sheet pulled up here. I keep asking y'all questions. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do this. Let me go to the dynamic view. We'll stop this share. Look at your boy becoming a whiz with the app. Let's see. Texas. While I'm pulling this up, North Crowley, one thing that impressed me tonight with them, because Westlake would get chunk plays or get uh pound that in the middle. Y'all are hilarious. I gotta stop looking at the chat and focus. But Westlake would have a chunk play or have, hit something to the tight end or they were still, Westlake still runs their quarterback power, all that stuff. And then in key moments, the way Crowley rallies to the football, and when they come to the football, they don't just, Sark says that term. I think Marlon likes it, says he hates it, but Sark's term, populate the ball, right? Well, when they do populate the ball, but they come and punch that thing out. There was a fumble they caused today. There was a point in the game where it was like, okay, Westlake might tie this thing up. They might go 14-14 early in the game. And it was like kid had the ball around 10-yard line. He's going down. But Crowley kid just comes in there, boom, punches the ball out. Perfect ball. Like, boom, pops the ball, and they're on it. And they got like 6-7 dudes around the ball. Just flying, just constantly. Even when they get beat, they fly into the ball, fly into the ball, fly into the ball. Hey, that Sark said that, not me. Sark said that, not me. Stop with the Jim Rome. All right. Let me do this. Sure. No. All right, give me 1 second. I'll pull this up. I will be right back. 1 second. Just got to go get real quick. All right, we back. So let me get down here. 400. I think we only had one game this year. Let's start here. Pookie said, I knew some people have a problem with the term. It does make sense. It's just that Marlon doesn't like it. I don't have a problem with them, but Marlon doesn't like it. He thinks it sounds weird. But anyway, let me get back to focus here. So I don't think we had a game this year. I think we had one game this year, which was the Florida game. Correct me if I'm wrong, where we allowed over 300 total yards. Even our last loss to Georgia, we allowed 277, I believe. So we gave up 412 today, right? Tough game. Tough, you know, overall best effort. See, he told you he doesn't like it. um they was so they put up 412 today. 336 through the air, by far the best aerial game we faced, right? Now they relied more on Randall. We knew Maffa was going to go give it a go, and it's unfortunate for Clemson because he's a really good player, 1,000-yard back. But it sounds like he's going to have surgery on his shoulder. And tried to go. He was, you saw him. I don't know if you guys saw. He was wearing that shoulder harness, but that just wasn't going to happen. Just wasn't going to happen. And then without the other kid, the Haynes kid, the run game was really using Randall as an all-purpose guy who he broke one. I want to actually talk about that one run that he broke, the 41-yarder. And then quarterback run game and Klubnik. And this is where I will give the Texas defense credit. As good as Klubnik threw the ball and as good as Klubnik moved around behind the line of scrimmage, we didn't let him go crazy with his legs. We didn't give up both. I think a few years ago, this Texas team gets caught like this, and a guy goes for like dare I say, Caleb Williams. A guy like that would have 300-something yards passing, but also 80 yards on the ground, 90 yards on the ground, big run plays. Texas did not give that up. They were on it in the quarterback run game, and this team really defends that very, very well. So I give them credit there. I know you guys are talking about Manny. I'm going to get to Manny in a sec. These young receivers, TJ Moore, Brenning Stool, the tight end. Brenning Stool, the tight end, he's going to play on Sundays in some capacity. Antonio Williams, going to play on Sundays. And then Wesco, the other freshman. These guys were high recruits, by the way. Good football players. Good football players. And it goes to show, like, they had to step up. Like Ryan Wingo, I love Ryan Wingo. He's our stud, and he's going to be a stud as soon as next season. But you can also kind of see the difference of the reps and how much they rely on them. Like today was the first game where we've had a bigger diet for Ryan Wingo because Bond couldn't go, and we had to have that effort from him. There's a lot of almost and he Wingo made a big play in the run game, but like those guys are now, because that's the volume they've been getting, they're now totally spun up. I think that's where Wingo will be next year for us. I really, really do. Even with what I anticipate we will get from the portal, I really am impressed with those. I'm telling you, they remind me of a baby Justin Ross and a baby T. Higgins when they were really, really young guys and really on the come up for that Clemson team with ATN and Trevor Lawrence and them. So kudos. Welcome back, Gunnar Helm. Gunnar Helm was, Georgia's a tough one to get open against as a tight end because of how big and fast and how they can cover. We've definitely relied more on our receivers, Matthew Golden, DeAndre Moore, but Gunnar Helm was right back, ready for called upon. Our leading receiver today, 6 catches on 7 targets. It's outstanding. Great hands, great touchdown catch he had. So just seeing Gunnar just right back on track, we needed that. Matthew Golden was solid today for me. Obviously caught the big deep ball from Quinn, but our receivers, I think, could have had a better day overall. I mean, we didn't have the strongest of hands at times. Where I do give Matthew Golden credit, though, is his ability to draw pass interference. I wish there was a stat for that or something that we had in football. There's 2 stats that if I was immediately, I would add to the game. Or alter. Number one is I would start grading interceptions like baseball grades errors and either call them just outright turnovers, marry them with fumbles, and then have an explanation of how the ball was turned over and who gets assigned the quote unquote error, or have INTs be assigned to different positions. Because I don't think it's fair that Quinn Ewers has an INT on his record for making that throw to DeAndre Moore. DeAndre Moore should carry an interception, not Quinn. So if I could alter something, it'd be that. And the other thing I would alter is some type of stat showing the yards that a receiver generates from pass interference and the yards that a DB gives up from pass interference. Like both, because both impact the teams, right? So there's no stat, like you look like what the reason why I'm saying this is because if somebody didn't watch the game, they could look at this and be like, oh, Matthew Golden had one play. But it's like, bro, he was drawing hella pass interference out there that generated, multiple 15-yard penalties for us. Where that's value, right? So again, this is just more stat nerd type stuff, and, if you're really into if you don't care about stats at all, then what I'm saying is irrelevant to you. But that's just me being nitpicky. How do you guys feel about the linebacker play today? We've talked about before we get back to the corner issue, because look, it was obvious, man, he's getting picked on. Right? Look, had a bad day. Probably his worst game as a Longhorn. I expect him to bounce back. I think the brother has a strong mental fortitude. I still think the brother has good technique, and that's where coaching comes in, right? That's where the staff and the teammates come in. That's where the brotherhood comes in of Jade Barron, Michael Taff, and Andrew Makuba leaning on each other. But it was frustrating to see that. And I honestly, I will say this. The way Gavin Holmes performed today, if you're having problems like that with coverage, then kick Barron or something over to the boundary and just play them two at corner and leave Gilbo at the nickel. Now I know they were getting so frustrated they put Barron at the nickel, and look, the other thing I think what was more concerning for me was some of our blitzes from Mexico did not get home, especially in the second half. I don't know how many people noticed this. We were blitzing from depth. Now there were times where it was incomplete and it was null, okay, whatever. It's kind of a wash, but we were sending some heaters. We're not a blitz heavy defense at all. We really do like to get pressure with our guys up front, and they needed help today with pressure, so we were sending heat. Anthony Hill blitzed quite a bit today, but we were not getting home. The pressure was not getting there. And so that to me was a concern. That was a concern. So there's some cleanup there. Leon Leifau had some moments today, right? He had that big play where got his hand on it, incredible jump on the ball, just athletically couldn't get it. If that's Jelani McDonald, that's probably a pick six, or somebody that's just a little bit better athlete. But Leifau definitely had some promising moments today. I just continue to see growth with those young guys. And then Colin Simmons, probably the most impactful defensive player in terms of him and Baron Sorrell. I'd say Colin Simmons had big negative play, and then the interception that came, I believe, off of Vernon Broughton's tip, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was Baron Sorrell that tipped it. Vernon Broughton had a different tip, but Baron Sorrell got his hand on one, and then Vernon Broughton got his hand on another. But Colin Simmons got that interception, so it was cool to see. but the tracking and whatnot. So I wanted to go back to this couple things I wanted to bring up. The 41-yard run that Randall had. If I go here, um, honestly, that was the first time I've seen Michael Taft miss a tackle like that all season. We have not had that. And to me, that's been one of the things, one of the unsung things that has made the Texas defense so special to me this season is not really giving up any of those type of runs at all, right? I mean, not, especially not on a broken tackle. Now they had the kid, the brother from UTSA that just outran the whole damn defense. But I'm talking about like a just opportunity to, you know, get a guy down the open field. He hasn't missed that tackle all year at all. So it happened. And yeah, the kid's big for sure. For sure. So I'm more so just saying that to give credit to Texas how good that's been. But he didn't like we I expect Michael Taft to play better football. I mean, him and Makuba technically had drop picks. They were tough, but they got two hands on the ball on multiple ones. As good as Klubnik was playing. Makuba had an opportunity and Taft had opportunity. Taft jumped one. Now he also, they also ended the game and told me to shut the F up. So that's neither here nor there. But I'd like to see those guys. Manny's going to be the talk of the next 10 days because it was just so obvious. But I think that's where guys have struggled. Like, look, the heat that Manny's going to get, that's the heat that Quinn been getting every week. and Bubba just keep playing. At some point, whether you like Quinn or not, I hate to just jump all over, but this is the reality of where I'm at. Like, whether you like Quinn or not, bro, the guy has been steady at least every single. It's back-to-back 12-2 seasons with the guy, and you got to admit, like the pressure on his head is crazy. Like people are basically saying, if we don't win the Natty, is they're going to blame him, and that's why I'm like, yo, we have got to be careful with narratives like this and watching the games, and really, really watching the games. I will always hold people accountable when they need to be held accountable, Quinn included. I've been called a Quinn hater. But no, I try to what I try to understand is I grade him game to game and I understand what he is and what he isn't, what his strengths are and what his weaknesses are. He's not a great athlete, but he's become a almost an underrated quarterback. The way people talk about him. I asked about where would I put Cade Klubnik amongst the 12 quarterbacks in the field. I put Quinn pretty high too. I put Quinn over Sam Levitt. Next week, or yeah, in 10 days. Me personally, I put Quinn over Will Howard. I would take Quinn Ewers over Will Howard. I'm just thinking about possible matchups. Dylan Gabriel's probably number one most trusted quarterback in the field. But like y'all look, we're spoiled here at Texas, and that's a good thing. And that's credit to Sark. But Quinn took the brace off today, looked healthy, he moved better. I knew I could trust Quinn over what people are going to get from Kevin Jennings for the first time. No disrespect to Kevin Jennings, but those guys went up to Penn State and got ambushed by the White Walkers because they were freezing cold out there. I take I mean, who else? There's a lot of other guys for me. So I think it's become he deserves to be criticized and critiqued and all that. He's playing with a great team. He has a great coach. Uh, and it's been a roller coaster of a season. And even with all that said, the guy still was second team all SEC. Granted, it was a down year for SEC quarterback play, but he was still second team all SEC. And his biggest stat stuffing games, he didn't get to play in. The games that were arched through like 9 touchdowns or whatever, those were supposed to be Quinn's Heisman games where he just, when I say Heisman games, like the 5 touchdown, the 4 like the games where he gets to pile up stats. He didn't even get his stat pile up games like that. So I am going to defend him just in regards to, oh, he's going to hold this team back from. No, what's holding the team back? Go watch Tennessee, and they're late in the second quarter tonight, and Nico has 2 completions. That's holding the team back. And Nico's super talented, but like we gonna call a spade a spade. That's holding the team back. I haven't seen Quinn that bad, not since his freshman year. I've been on this channel. I've been frustrated. With several different things. It's not been perfect, and I expect a lot from third-year quarterbacks under Steve Sarkisian. But today, I saw a lot of those things. A lot of those things. Clint, really, man? Thank you. 50. That's love. That's love. Steve, here's a 50 spot to help support your platform. Been with you since the dog days of bad UT football. Great win tonight, Hook. Clint Sutton, thank you, man. That's a blessing. It's really nice. Merry Christmas. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Means a lot. Our next football game will be in 2025. So as we conclude 2024, I just appreciate and grateful for all the support on the channel, and how you ladies and gentlemen here uplift me. So Clint, thank you so much. Trust me, it means the world. Really does. Really, really does. I'm gonna go for about 5 more minutes. Anything y'all any other questions, things we want to touch on before the end of the stream? I want to make sure I'm being respectful of time here too. Not my live chat one. Oh, there we go. Just get the chat up here. There we go. No, thank you, Clint. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. What was the final score? It was 38-24. Which is funny because that was my prediction. Did you know we've won every single New Year's Six bowl game in our history except for the Peach Bowl? If we beat Arizona State, we'd be the first team ever in history to do so. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I did not know that. I did not know that. That is really, really cool. Texas covered. So overall, let me ask you guys this question. How do we feel about the playoff format now that the first round's over? I'll be honest with you. I still think that there's 1 year is not a large enough sample size. I see people making big conclusions like, oh, you see, this is already, I mean, it's a work in progress. Back when the computers were deciding things, aka the BCS era, I was already at the point where I thought 8 teams was the sweet spot for me. At the time, I said the 5 Power 5 conference champions and just 3 at large, and then have your tournament with those. Um, we went to 12. Again, I think every year is different. There's some years have more parity, but as we said at the beginning, once you start getting outside the top 5, and this is most years in college football, there's a drop off, and there's a drop off in talent, there's a drop off in physicality, there's a drop off in depth, especially considering how many teams are built to play this many games. Seriously, consider that. How many teams are built to play this many games? And are they equipped to handle? I mean, some conferences, there's a reason why you're hearing a lot of chirping right now behind the scenes from the Alabamas, the Ole Misses, the South Carolinas of the world. And no, these teams did not deserve to get in. They did not. They had opportunity on the field, just like SMU. But I will also say this about SMU. With now introducing the variable of home playoff games, atmosphere and climate matters. This is my opinion. But them boys from SMU were not built to play on that soil in Penn State. Those brothers looked cold as hell. It looked like the Dolphins playing at Lambeau Field. It looked like a Miami Buffalo AFC East showdown battle in December, and Miami's up in Buffalo. You already know how that's going to go. That's why I did not even consider SMU. Look, people are crapping on SMU and all this type of stuff. Dustin Jones, I appreciate the super chat. Let me just finish this point and I'll get to yours. People are crapping on SMU and saying, oh, this, the blah, blah, blah. Look, when that drone says 25 degrees and it feels like 18 degrees, some of those kids have never been that cold in their whole life. They did not live in a place where they went skiing for fun. They did not live in a place where they went ice skating and played hockey and all that. Brothers, now it can get cold in Texas. Don't get it twisted and all that type of stuff and wind and all that, but we just go inside. We just go inside. We ain't dealing with that. Penn State was like, whoa, football weather. Like, nah, bro. So home field matters there. Home field matters there, just like it does in the NFL. Same thing you see in the NFL. Wasn't it the Dolphins? Do y'all remember, for those that watch the NFL, I'm a big NFL fan, but you watch the Dolphins play at Kansas City in the playoff game, the game where Patrick Mahomes cracked his helmet. There's a play in that game with, I think it was Snead, when Snead was still in Kansas City, and Tyreek Hill pre-snap has his hands in his hand warmer. Pre-snap. At the line of scrimmage. And what happens is Snead like freaking buries him into the ground. Not ready to play football. He's not built for that. He's over here pre-snap, about to run a play, and he's thinking about how cold it is. If SMU had played Penn State on Texas soil, it's probably a 1-score game. That's how much of a difference it is. Just like Miami, like when Buffalo comes to Miami or Green Bay comes to Miami, it's a closer game. Not saying that they're not the better team, but we ain't built for all that. That's why it's like, yo, we play Michigan, we gonna play y'all early. Early. We went up to Michigan that game in the freaking second week of the season. It was 54 degrees or something like that. That tells you what it is. Even the hater said Quinn played well today. I love it. Dustin, yes, that applies to Tennessee as well. It did not look. I yes, it and look, tennis it applies to Tennessee, but it also all right, let's talk about football reasons. Tennessee running that bear and shoot, that explosive down the field passing element is critical to their success. They're so reliant. Tennessee right now with just Dylan Sampson reminds me of when we were running the bear and shoot in the mid 2010s, and we were just getting money with Deontay Foreman, but we had inconsistent freshman quarterback play with Shane Bouchot. And if Shane Bouchot didn't hit a deep ball early, he wasn't really going to help. Like it was just going to be us reading the safeties and then all right, hand off to inside zone to Deontay Foreman. And yeah, he ran just like Sampson. Big year statistically. But that element, like when they had Hendon Hooker, and all that, and they married their with Wright in the backfield and guys going downfield and Jalen Hyatt and all those guys. That's what the hypo beer and shoot's supposed to look like. Right now with Nico, and if I'm Nico, if I believe Nico has all the traits and gifts in the world to be a high end quarterback at the next level. I think they're gonna have to reconsider what that offense looks like for him because that's not preparing him for the league. It's not preparing him for the league. And the things that Nico does well, I'm not even seeing. The confidence is gone. I don't see as much as the movement. Nico, to me, is a similar type to Trevor Lawrence. That's who I compare him to as a prospect. Like of what you saw with Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. That's how Nico should be playing football. Tennessee don't use him like that. And now his confidence is gone and it's not fitting the way it should. It's not. That kid's supposed to be a playmaker, man. And he has the ability, and we've seen it early. Nico came out first couple games against them bums and was looking loud. And look how they finished the season with a whimper. Huge advantage with the weather in those games. If we're playing home playoff games and I gotta go up there in December and hell no. Now, if we're playing in a dome and weather is not a factor, and I don't got to worry about stuff and get my kids ready and get my mind. Nah. We'll see. Anyway, Dustin, thank you for the super chat. How do you feel about the potential matchup with Ohio State or Oregon? I personally didn't see Tennessee getting run out of the shoe like they did. So Tennessee is too one-dimensional. I like their defense, but Ohio State has all the depth offense. Ohio State can afford to take their time with a team like that because of the talent that they have. Like eventually Travion Henderson will get his. Eventually Jeremiah Smith will get his. Eventually Emeka Akuba will get his. Will Howard's solid. So Judkins, like they got enough guys. So eventually they'll get theirs. But with match, so I'm not surprised by them running Tennessee out there, especially in a cold weather game. I'm not. As good as Tennessee's defense is, they're not good enough to. Nobody's even. I talk about people's offenses. Nobody's defense is 2001 Miami, 2001 Ravens, or 2000 Ravens, where you're just going to stand on business and not give up anything, no matter how many possessions. That's not. No. Eventually, you're going to wear down, and people are going to get you. Ohio State, Oregon. I think that was a bad draw for Oregon. I think that's really not fair for them to have to do that rematch, but we'll see. For Texas, I think let's see who agrees or disagrees with me. for Texas, I actually think we match up better with Ohio State. I think Ohio State is the better team, but I think we match up better with Ohio State. I think we would have problems with Dylan Gabriel again, and I think Oregon would spread us out, and I think we'd have some issues. I think we can score on Oregon. It would be similar to the Clemson game. It'd be similar to the Clemson game, but I feel like I know how Ohio State's going to play me. It's just I feel like I know how they're going to play me. So, would you rather play Oregon? Would you rather play Ohio State? Right now, my focus is Arizona State because that's the opponent we have to face. Quinn said offensively we will struggle with Ohio State. Well, yeah, they have a great defense, but we've seen great defenses in the SEC, and as great as their defense is, I think we could still move the ball on their defense. I don't think that there's anything that they do that we haven't seen Georgia not do. If that makes sense. So I just think that from a coaching standpoint, from a matchup standpoint, I just feel comfortable with how Ohio State would play us. Oregon, it depends on look. Oregon's going to score on our defense because of the style. They would spread it. Like, y'all are getting frustrated about Manny and all that. Like, we already saw how we played Dylan Gabriel before, and now he may have better personnel with this Oregon team than he even did with his OU team when we faced them before. So I think we can beat both teams. So I also feel that way. I think we can beat both teams. But we're talking about high end, best on best, neutral site. Now the good thing is we would play them on Texas soil. I like us at AT&T. So whether we play, if we get past Arizona State, playing in the Cotton Bowl and AT&T, I do like us on Texas soil. But we got to earn that right. We got to earn the right to get to that game. I think we can run the ball on both. I think a lot of people. Ohio State's really good defensively. I think a lot of people. I think Oregon has a very underrated secondary. I know people are looking just at the Penn State game and all that, but overall, across the season, Oregon was really good in their secondary. My thing with Ohio State, I think a lot of people get intimidated when they see the jersey and the helmet and just fall apart. I mean, that wouldn't be the case for Texas. It'd be a heavyweight fight. It'd be like Usyk and Fury today. Two dudes just, I'm not scared of you. You're not scared of me. Let's go see who's the best in the world. That's what we saw today in that fight. I think you'd see the same from Texas to Ohio State. Personal opinion. Arizona State doesn't scare me either, Dustin, but it's just out of respect. Anything can happen. It's all fun and games until Scatterboo comes in. Scatterboo starts running for. Yo, I can only imagine if Scatterboo runs for 200, 250 yards, people like Marlon will burn this place down if we get that up. we lose to a one-man band like that. I'm telling you, he runs uh what's that movie? The Longest Yard? He runs like Stone Cold. He runs like one of the guards. Stone Cold Steve Austin from The Longest Yard. That's Scatterboo. That's how a white man's supposed to run the ball. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that movie, but the remake of it, I should say. But that's how Scatterboo runs. He going he is looking for contact. He is looking to run somebody. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. But that's how Scatterboo moves. If you're not familiar, that would hit us like a shotgun blast to the chest if we lose that game. But 10 days. Let's get ready. Let's get equipped. I got to get to a game in the morning. I'm going to see a trans team play again tomorrow morning. They're in a single elimination tournament, so I'm going to go see. We can't lose to no dude named Scatterboo. Hey. Don't sleep. Although, they're good, but they pulled out some really nail biter type wins. Like Texas State, right? Like as Quentin said earlier, and I believe it as well, there's no Cinderellas here. There's no Cinderellas here. Especially we got a little extra time. There's no Cinderellas here. Marlon, I did not know you were in Tempe. Oh, I know they love scat. Hey, yo, Big 12 championship game. There was a kid beginning of the game against Iowa State. This is my first initial. This is just off of Bleacher Report stuff and watching them. But kid wearing a Scatterboo Saved My Life shirt. I wanted to get that shirt. I love it because I like Scatterboo. I'm a Scatterboo fan. But we about to have him looking with the Wash Mike Allstott stats. 30 carries for 79 yards, no tutties. How's that for that? How's that, Scatterboo? 30 carries, 79 yards, no tutties. All work, no play. But what was I going to say before that though? He got it. Dang it, I forgot what I was going to say before that last Scatterboo comment. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get up out of here. I appreciate y'all. Nice stream tonight. Good victory stream. We'll continue to get ready for the opponent. What a sports day today. I think historically was a lot happened, right? NFL, college sports, state championship, Usyk Fury, man, National Basketball Day, Victor Wembanyama, 30 points and 10 blocks. Victor Santiago, yes, I did watch the fight. Excellent fight. Excellent fight. I had Usyk winning. Usyk pulled away late. I thought he landed some big time shots. I thought Tyson Fury fought extremely well conditioned. Tyson Fury also came out to All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. It was really fun. It was a great fight. Great heavyweight fight. I can't wait to watch it again and score it more closely. But Usyk, it was, I think, between the 7th round and the 11th round is where I just felt like he dominated. But they were very difficult rounds to score because there were rounds where I was giving to Usyk where both guys were landing very effective shots in trade range from distance. Tyson Fury's jab was much more effective to me than it was in the first fight. But Usyk landed some his left hook and his ability to generate speed and power from it, especially to a guy that tall, is unbelievable. He's an unbelievable boxer. He's an unbelievable talent. Um, one of the best fighters of in my lifetime in that division. And where do we go from here? Because boxing, I thought the fix would be in for them to have a trilogy, but Usyk really decisively, I thought, took over at the end of the fight. But it was great on great. Tyson Fury has nothing to hang his head on. He fought very well today. Any other heavyweight is taking an L from Tyson Fury the way Tyson Fury fought today. He just happened to fight probably the best fighter right now, pound for pound, in the world. And yes, I have Usyk that high. Usyk would be my number one. Because Bud Crawford's already having problems at 154. I know brothers don't want to say that out loud. I'm sorry I did, but Bud's not the same at 154 that he was at 147. Anyway, one day I'm just going to have a whole separate channel just for the boxing because boxing's my heart. It's my heart. But yes, I watched the fight very closely today. Yeah, Derek Weisner was on here earlier and said that Trey was fine as well. So good stuff. Good stuff. Y'all hit the like button. Guys like Clint, Dustin, H Post, everybody that sent a super chat, everybody that just continues to show love, continues to rock with me. It's past midnight. David Keith Williams, Joey Austin, Victor, Marlon, Quentin, Drew. I mean, Marley. Y'all, he said we populated out here. We've been here since. No, it hits different. Clint, it hits different because the Boss's Ranch days, those were the therapy days. Those were the Tom Herman days, and we were here. We were here. We were hungry. We just wanted a good product. We just wanted a team we could be proud of. We wanted to see good football. We wanted to see the state of Texas the way that the state of Texas represents in football. We wanted to see our kids develop. We wanted to see our kids getting to the next level and getting the recognition that they deserve. And look, the timing and things in this sport changed, and I think Texas was ready to pivot in this change. I told people once it becomes the 2000s and NIL kicks in and look, the sport has changed, and Texas was ready for the pivot. Texas was ready for the pivot because they just had to get some of the stuff together behind the scenes. We've crapped on our boosters and the I made the Buddy Garrity joke about Westlake earlier, but like Texas, Doc talks about it all the time on Twitter. Texas got 1,000 Buddy Garrities, but what happened if they ever got on the same page? What will happen if you actually had people working in cohesion with the athletic department, working in cohesion with the university, and doing what's best for the players, was doing what's best by the players? Don't think that it hasn't gone unnoticed that what we saw from guys like Terrell Carter, who were in this program, transferred and got misdone at a different program and come back and said, when I was at Texas, they took care of me. When I was at Texas, they were 10 out of 10. Experience, life experience, no bridges burned. So we've been real loud and front and center about our filth and our drama and all that, but we're going to be just as loud, if not louder, in times of victory, how we've grown this program, the fact that we have expectations again, the fact that we don't just have hope, but we expect to win. Those days were fun. That's why, but those days were hard, but they were fun because we respected the journey to get there. If that makes sense. And it makes it feel more meaningful. That's why I don't understand fair weather fans, because I don't see the value in that. You didn't, Like, I don't play a video game and just skip to the end where I'm gonna win and then feel satisfied or anything. I mean, some people are like that, but I don't ever get that. Like all my teams, I ride or die. I ride or die. We were like that 5-7. Yeah, I earned that, bro. I stood 10 toes down during 5-7. Didn't miss a stream. Never ducked the smoke. Some of y'all were here when I had to wear the Baker Mayfield jersey when I lost the bet to Chris. Or when I broke the camera after, I think I broke the camera after the 4 overtime games. Some of y'all been here since Maryland. Do you remember the Maryland streams? Jesus, man. Like, we've all like, that's why it feels earned. It feels different. I didn't and just pop up and start making content. We only when we good. We here no matter what. No matter what. And the thing is, I'm blessed because I was old enough to experience the 2000s when we won, and I knew I've never I documented how I felt, and I knew how I felt then, and I know I know that feeling. What we're feeling now is what we were feeling back then, and they marry. That parking lot video in the Whataburger after the Big 12 championship game. We got done in by Kyler Murray. Tran and I are making the video, and somebody comes up and like, did Texas win? No. Landon, yeah, I remember Landon. Landon, thank you for the super chat. Yep. Landon said he was at that one. I remember that. Oof. But those are the days you tell your kids about. Those are the days you tell people that are new to the Texas experience or students that come up. You know, you hear a lot from the people that went to the school during the 2010s, during the Charlie Strong era, during the Tom Herman era, and it was like, man, it was tough times, man. We went through it, but man, I don't know. It just feels like I've earned this. Maryland hit different, bro. Both back to back, and we're still hit Kansas. They had my picture in the damn Austin Statesman newspaper, crashing out over Kansas. That's why nobody can tell me nothing, man. I've already been down. Trey and I were talking about earlier today because we were reflecting a little bit. And Trey was like, yo, you can't tell. My pain is already documented. My pain is on camera. I've earned this. So yeah, you know, and you know, God willing, we make it to the Cotton Bowl because that'll be the next Texas game I try to go to. I think Tran is going to try to go to Atlanta for the Peach Bowl and travel out there. But just enjoy and document these experiences, just like we did with the bad ones. Because everything matters. Every step matters of the journey. Everything. It's not just the good stuff. You remember those days, you remember those times so that you don't go back there. So you learn from it. You're like, yo, this is what we had to do to fix the program, to strengthen the program, to get the right people in charge. It's not, and to stop, somebody said earlier, it's not the savior complex. We were over here trying to rely on one freaking person, whether it was a quarterback or a coach or whatever, to save us. That's why I'm like, yo, today Quinn stepped up, but I'm not asking Quinn to be a savior. And Quinn hasn't been a quote unquote savior. No, he's been a part of a very good team. And he's a big part and piece of why we're good. But I don't need y'all to be saviors. One game, the defense is going to bail us out. Another game, off. That's That's what national championship caliber teams can do. Teams that can win multitude of ways. I've watched look at Kansas City at the NFL level. Mahomes looks like Superman in the Super Bowl, but to get to the Super Bowl, he needed his defense. Baltimore didn't allow them to score a single point in the second half of the AFC Championship game. But that Chiefs defense stood on business and made sure they got to the Super Bowl versus the 49ers. And then Mahomes went and took it. That's a team. That's the team. Drew Yanez, not the Kendrick voice. I am not your savior. Quinn Ewers, he is not your savior. Tom Herman, he is not your savior. Sam Ellinger, he is not your savior. But can you help me win? Can you be a key piece? Can we build a balanced team? Can we be organized behind the scenes? That's when it hits different. Yeah. I mean, the Maryland loss, the one loss we had when they had no coach was bad, though, David Keith Williams. I think Matt Canada was like called when Durkin freaking killed Jordan McNair. May he rest in peace. But look, they still let Durkin coach. That's a whole nother thing. They got nothing but scumbags over there at Auburn. But Durkin killed somebody, and then they let and then that was the year. That was the year that people realized we couldn't stop the jet sweep. Y'all remember that? And then Maryland ran the jet sweep, and then everybody installed. And that was back when I used to say, if you're facing Texas, just go ahead and install jet sweep because we don't keep contained. We don't know how to stop it. But yeah, losing to Kansas was bad too. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember we lost to didn't Casey Thompson have like 19 touchdowns in the in that game? We lost to Kansas, and Xavier Worthy had like 28 targets. It was some just craziness. Still lost. Freaking guy got a freaking Chili's commercial after the game or whatever it was. I remember it all. It was part of our story. Iowa State game was the turning point. That was the get off the bus, Bo. Now he's over here plucking people from us in the portal at LSU. Yeah, Deshaun Jones. Yep, at Maryland. Killing us with jet sweep. Mm. Yeah, I wonder about Sam Ellinger. It What's up, Brand Dog? The Sam Ellinger that's in the pros now, I think Sark could have used him like Jalen Hurts. He could have been like that. Very efficient, reluctantly have some quarterback run stuff just for him, but even though that's not his thing. But overall, veteran, competitor, leader, run the offense. But overall, he just wasn't the fit for what Sark's looking for. Now, yeah, I don't think we would have gone 5-7 with Sam either. Yeah, he still would have been better than Hudson and Casey. David Ash and Dominique Espinosa, for those who don't remember, our center, our 4-year starting center. Charlie Strong had terrible luck. That North Texas game, which was his first game, he loses David Ash to concussion and Dominic Espinosa for the season. And those two were our senior captain starters on offense. And that offense that was being run by Sean Watson, even though they had the whole Joe Wickline thing. Anyway, I got to roll, guys. Remember, Horns always up. Broadcast shut down. Welcome. I gotta bounce. This thing's shutting down on me. So appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe a whole bit. Love you guys. Horns always up. Peace.